What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
RadioWhat.com. What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me. Yeah, me, Keys Dan, at your event. Weddings, parties, just little kid parties. I haven't done a little kid party in a while. I did a family event over the last weekend. That was kind of fun. Family fun events. And I get to do those on the usually every other week over at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville. But yeah, little kid parties. I got to do more of those. Family friendly parties. It's good for my soul. It's good for my heart. You know, I do a lot of the clubs that are over 21, but yeah, DJLittleRock.com. Check it out. Today on the program, Katrina Tecxidor. Yeah, Katrina Tecxidor. I saw her at a Comic-Con. She is a cosplayer and a marketer for cosplayers and so much more. Well, we're going to talk to her in the next few minutes, and you got that to look forward to. Katrina Tecxidor. Kind of excited about that one. This week's shows. Let's see, Thursday, I'll be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas. That's the family-friendly show from 6 to 9. And they have the karaoke, the video dance party, good barbecue. Oh, yeah, it's delicious. And they always send me home with some good barbecue. Usually I get the wings. Sometimes it's the ribs. Oh, yeah, it's a good vegetarian meal. With meat. And let's see. They also have some frosty beverages. If you're over 21, you could definitely take part of that at the Old Post Barbecue. Do it. I keep the music family friendly, so bring everybody. It's a great after school treat on a Thursday in Russellville, Arkansas from 6 to 9, Old Post Barbecue. Then Friday, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That is an over 21 event. They got the full bar. They got the kitchen. The pool tables are let's see, they have a pool tournament with 10 diamond. They're so fancy. They got these diamond quality pool tables is what they call them. But there's a pool tournament, and people seem to be happy over there on that side of the room, doing their pool tournament, making some money while you're hanging out at the Rab. They get on the party patio. There's shuffleboard, foosball, Jenga, checkers. So yeah, there's always something to do while you're waiting to sing with little old me. We have a little stage set up with plenty of lights to keep you fascinated over at the Rab. There's the dance floor is always open, so I try to keep it real fun over at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. That starts at 8 p.m. and we go until almost 2 a.m. Last call's usually around past 1:30. So yeah, good times at the Rab. Come on out and play with me. Conway, Arkansas. And then Saturday night, I'll be in Heber Springs at the VFW, Heber Springs, Arkansas. This will be the second time I'm there. I was there at the beginning of the month for a let's see, an 80s party, and it was supposed to be just DJing for an 80s party. It was one of their members' birthdays, and they said, "Hey, come on out. We're gonna have a little 80s party." I went into this room. It is huge room, big room, it was freshly painted. They have this dance floor that's all checkered with a nice big logo in the middle of the VFW. So just going into the room, I was like, ooh, nice room. Chairs and tables all set up. This place is ready for a party. So come on out to the Heber Springs VFW. I had fun with them at the beginning of the month, and they said, hey, come on out at the end of the month, and we're going to do this karaoke contest finale. Apparently they've been doing a karaoke contest through the week, and they wanted me to be a part of the finale. So the 80s party was supposed to be strictly just me DJing for them, but somebody said, oh, you got karaoke? Oh, yeah, we're in. And most of them sang 80s songs for their karaoke, so they stayed in theme. So that was pretty fun. Heber Springs VFW. So come on out to the big room and come see the karaoke contest finale on Saturday, September 28th. Come check that out. Karaoke contest finale leads me to believe there are going to be some good singers. So you're going to get to hear some good, talented singers while you're having your drinky poos there. That's an over 21 event as well, because it is the VFW. Come on. Every dry county needs a VFW. So come on out. Heber Springs VFW, Saturday night. So Thursday at the Old Post Barbecue, Friday at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, and Saturday night at the Heber Springs VFW. Come and visit with little old me. All public events. Yeah, I get to party with the people. Well, it's time to talk to Katrina Tecxidor. Let's give her a call. Calling Katrina Tecxidor now.
Dan, how you doing?
Hello and good morning. Keys Dan with the What Makes You Famous podcast. And I just realized I have no idea what to call you. You have so many names, so many different facets of who you are.
Right. Kind of like Daenerys. I mean, you could call me Katrina. You could call me Geek Unique Cosplay. You can call me the Mother of Marketing. I mean, what else?
Yeah, give the people a little synopsis, a little idea of who you are. Who are we talking to today?
Well, I'm Katrina Tecxidor. I'm known also as Geek Unique Cosplay. I've been involved in the cosplay industry for, probably a good 8 years now, 5 of which I kind of, made my footing more as a professional cosplayer, if you will. I'm most known for my Batgirl, but I tend to do a lot of DC characters, so you'll still see a lot of Wonder Woman, Supergirl. I've done Jessie Quick, Elektra also. I've done some Marvel characters. I just love cosplay, and your strong female characters who kick butt is kind of my thing. But most people know me for my Barbara Gordon, particularly my new 52. I work with a lot of designers as well, so I get most of my costumes custom made and handcrafted by talented artists from all over the country. I employ them as well, and I sell custom-made costumes, so if anybody out there needs a custom-made costume made of any material, we can even do 3D print, I'm the girl to talk to. Over the last few years, I got involved in the marketing industry, particularly through the convention scene, because I was so involved in it. I wanted to help it grow. I had a lot of people that, had booths at conventions or cosplayers wanting to market themselves, and they wanted to, know, hey, how do I get myself out there? How do I get more followers? How do I get people booking me or buying my products? And I was making them very successful. But, for a while I wasn't charging, and then people came up to me and they're like, you know what, you need to do this as a business. So I gave it a try. The rest is history. I quit the job I had at that time. I own my business full time. It's called Cos Marketing Agency. So it's a play on words of cosplay, conventions, things like that. And we have a very geeky motif, which people love. And over the course of time, we've diversified. We've worked a lot of corporate events and corporate businesses as well, just constantly expanding. We just got done with another successful red carpet event. So it's going very well. I'm very happy. I love what I do, and I try to have fun while doing it.
Katrina Tecxidor, your cosplay is amazing, and it's amazing to me that you've turned what essentially is dressing up like a superhero into a job. Whatever you love, whatever you do, you can make it into a career if you have an idea, if you have the imagination, and you have the imagination, Katrina. It baffles me that someone can make a job out of this, and this is great that you've done so. And not only have you made a job out of it, you're also helping other people that want to achieve their goals as well through your business with the Geek Unique cosplay. That it's just amazing to me. And you travel doing your cosplay. Where are you based out of?
I do. I travel quite a bit. I'm based out of Orlando, Florida. Mostly this year, we've been staying in state because we've been getting more business locally. But I've traveled to Arkansas. That's where you met me. We've done work in Texas before. New York, New Jersey. We had people who flew in for us here from Argentina. So technically we've done work with people from Argentina. I did work with people out of Canada. I didn't have to fly out for that one, unfortunately. But, being in marketing in the form of digital marketing, I can work with anybody around the world from my computer, or I can meet them wherever if it's an event and they want to fly me out. The good thing with us is, especially if you're talking about an event, we have absolutely everything that the person needs from start to finish. So they want to know how to start it, where to go, how to open up that business, when to throw their event, things like that, so they don't have as much competition. The concept behind it, we can help them with that, the branding of it, putting it on social media, and even down to the talent. I work with a lot of talent also outside of cosplay, people who are well-known artists. We've been working with Kevin Wood, who's an artist at DC Comics too. He travels the country, so we literally want to be your one-stop shop when it comes to anything geeky or convention related. And if you have a small business where you're selling products, or even we've worked with people in real estate, for example, flipping houses, things like that. I mean, if you want to take a unique perspective and stand out, you're going to come to us because nobody is doing what we're doing. At period, end of story. So I'm very lucky to be able to do this. And I think what really fueled me is a lot of people were like, this sounds like a really interesting concept, but I don't know if people are gonna go for that, or I've heard the geeky thing that's gonna go away. It was always here. It's here to stay, and it's bigger than ever. Endgame is the highest grossing movie of all time.
You got that right.
Avengers Endgame of all time, it surpassed Avatar. So when people tell me, this is gonna go away, I point to things like that and I say, well, we're quite frankly ahead of the curve. So and it's working out in that way. We do a lot of videography work as well. So that's what we focus on, is making unique content for people's social media. It is so expensive to advertise these days. There's so many places where people are hitting you, bombarding you with ads. So how are you going to stand out besides that? If you can't spend $1,000 in ads a month, and a lot of people can't, how do you stand out? Well, you got to create a unique social media presence. You understand all about that, Dan. You got to post. You got to put yourself out there. You got to talk to your audience. You got to give them something interesting to watch. And that's where we come into play. We have an entire media crew. You can come and to our location, or we have a mobile set. You get to feel like a celebrity. We'll write scripts for you and make some really interesting content that's just for you. No two people are the same. So that's the kind of treatment that you get. And I talk to every single customer at least once or twice a month personally over the phone. So if somebody's a $500 a month client or a $2,000 a month client, they still get personal one-on-one service with us. And I definitely pride myself in that.
Katrina Tecxidor, I knew it was going to be a good conversation with you. You're so multifaceted. You branded your businesses, your various facets, the fingers of your business so well. Geek Unique, what a great name. FanFit Go, what a great name. All these names that, and even your name, Katrina Tecxidor, is that your actual name?
That is my actual name. My last name is a a Puerto Rican spelling of a Corsican last name. So on my father's side, I'm Puerto Rican and Corsican. My mother's side, I'm Italian and Austrian. So yes, that is my real name.
That's great. It sounds like such a fantasy name. It's perfect for what you're doing. And you grew up in Orlando, in that area, or where did you grow up?
No, I grew up in Queens, close to Flushing. Pretty much up until I was about 15 or 16 years old, I was there. Definitely was into everything geek then. Stereotypical nerd. Was the least popular person of my entire school, and I mean it, because I went to a Catholic school where there was 300 people, and I could tell you really that is the case. Nobody back then cared about comic books, and I was super into it. Lord of the Rings was everything growing up. I actually studied Elvish for a while. People were like, what is this person coming in here wearing elf ears, speaking Elvish? Like, what is going on? So that, it really all started there. Once I got hooked on reading and comic books, it was kind of an addiction to me. But on the flip side of it, school was kind of like, okay, I literally put my nose in the books. Nobody wanted to talk to me. But outside of that, it was a whole different world, because I was involved in dance and acting. I took ice skating, anything that I could do that my parents would let me do that would get myself out there. Completely different situation. I got to, reinvent myself, so to speak. So the entertainment world was always a part of my life growing up. When I moved from New York to Florida in high school, didn't do as much with it. Went to college, started getting back into it. Actually, originally went to college for science. I actually have a degree in environmental science.
What?
I've done a lot of, yes. Not everybody knows that. I did a lot of work involved with endangered species. I spent time living in Hawaii researching whales. I was a part of the Ocean Mammal Institute program with their combating ocean noise pollution. So a really big issue for whales, because the way we, view the world, the way that we experience the world is through our sight, but for them it's hearing, because you can't see, as well, obviously under the water. So their sound is everything for them. That's how they migrate. If the decibels are over a certain level, I mean, they could quite literally die, or their migratory path is off, and that actually throws off the whole entire ecosystem. So it was a big deal for me. I spent a couple of months out there in Maui, helped them. I've worked with Back to Nature, which is in Narcoossee, Florida, worked with a lot of organizations, and, but the marketing worked out for me. I'd like to think eventually, I'd get more involved with maybe marketing some of these nonprofits and scientific organizations. And we have somewhat, mostly through cosplay related, charities and things like that. But that's definitely a really big passion of mine. But that kind of, was part of the many reasons that led my family and I here to Florida, was because we have a lot going on in terms of, endangered species and, animal welfare and things like that. And it helps that we got everything entertainment here. I mean, there's a convention literally every other weekend. If you're talking about the summer, I mean, there's really no off time here. January, there's just less things going on. In February now, they have a big event, Sci-Fi Bartow, which is a big steampunk event out in Bartow, Florida, where nobody knows it, nobody goes there except for this event, and this little town is flooded with people. It's a really cool looking old school town, kind of like a old west kind of looking in some areas. So when the steampunk people come out, I mean, it's perfect. You couldn't ask for a better backdrop or scenario. It's a little bit cooled down by then, because you're talking about February, and it's great time. So that's kind of the kickoff of the convention season for everyone, and it just really doesn't stop. It just really doesn't stop. We have, October coming up soon, so there's going to be a lot of events. Obviously, Spooky Empire's one of the biggest events in the country. We're going to hopefully do that. They moved it to Tampa, but that's a few hours away, so that should be fine. Holiday Matsuri is in December. That's going to be a big one. And my birthday's in October, too. So basically from October 1st, oh, thank you. From October 1st to 31st, I don't sleep.
Well, when I first asked you to be on the podcast, I didn't know I was going to be learning about whales and how to take care of them.
Yes, right. Well, no, I mean, hey, it's really important.
Yes.
Thing to think about with Fanfic Go, which the marketing and the cosplay take up enough of my time, but with Fanfic Go, it's just in general promoting a healthy lifestyle, healthy mind, healthy body, and just thinking about these things. I mean, I don't push my beliefs on anybody else. I just like to get people thinking, starting a dialogue. What are we consuming that leads to an after effect that could affect our environment? Because, I mean, it affects us. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So, just getting people thinking and thinking outside of the box is really, I think, what I'm here for.
I'm wondering how you got into that, because you moved from Queens to Orlando, to the Orlando, Florida area, Queens, New York to Orlando, Florida. How did your parents end up there? Were they into the same things, environmental and healthy lifestyle and all that? Or what did the parents do?
Well, clearly I'm a little bit of an oddball, and it's the same thing with my family. They do not necessarily understand all this, nor will they ever, especially the vegetarian. I mean, for years my grandfather was like, "You're a vegetarian. That means you could still eat fish, right?" I'm like, "No, Grandpa." So right. But like there's a lot of opportunities here too. When New York is very overly saturated, the cost of living just keeps on going up. It is here now, but at the time it was a really good. You're talking about 15 years ago almost. At this point, gosh, I feel old.
What year did you graduate high school?
That was, I think, 2007. That's
okay. You're not old.
I think
you look 12 still to me. Come on.
Oh my goodness. I'm turning. Oh well. I wouldn't have known that. Now I'm turning 30 this year.
Oh,
so,
that's a good year.
Well, yeah. At first I was like, oh gosh, like it's the 20s are done, and now I'm really more or less looking forward to it, because if I look back, me at 20, me at 30, different people. I still have the same loves and things that drive me, but if you had met me then, a lot more quiet and reserved. I would have not been able at that time to make the kind of steps and put myself out there like I do now.
But you realize, Katrina, that you've done more in your 20s than most people do. Most of the time, people spend their 20s doing crazy things. And what you did is you started to build a career. And most people wait till they're about 30 to actually settle down. And you're already doing it. You're heading in that direction. And you continue with what you were saying, but it's just amazing to me that I'm talking to you.
Oh, thank you. I know two modes. Is what I tell people. I know two modes. Either I'm moving, or I'm stopping, and I have to keep it moving constantly. I mean, that's how I am. I'm one of those people where I need to be learning and I need to be doing something. Otherwise, if I'm stagnant in one place, I get really antsy. I mean, the last thing that I do on vacation is just lay around by the pool. Some people, I'm going to relax by the pool. It sounds like a good idea, and then I'm thinking about ideas. I'm talking to my team. What if we do this? What if we do that? Checking messages. I'm quite literally, addicted to work, but again, it's something that it's constantly different. So it keeps it interesting for me. But in terms of moving down here, we had some families starting to move down here. The cost of living was getting pretty high. We got a good deal my mother got a good deal for a house down here when I was when I was starting high school, and it just all kind of worked out. So at first, when I moved down here, I moved to Kissimmee in the middle of nowhere. So yep. I'm from the big city. Then all of a sudden, we're moving literally to a cow town. It was a culture shock at first, but I obviously I really enjoy nature, so I enjoy part of it. Wasn't as many, job opportunities getting older and older. I was like, okay, let's branch out here. So I started moving closer to Orlando. Then, Winter Park area, the Orlando Winter Park area is where I'm at right now. So it's kind of a good mix of, you get that city environment, but at the same time, you get a little bit of, mom and pop kind of home feel. And it happened to work out because there's a lot of up and coming business owners in this area, because it's very expensive to have a location in the middle of the city. So they're going to the outskirts, Winter Park, Castleberry, Altamont Springs, because it's all within a 15-minute drive of the main city area. So it worked out for me really well that I happen to be pretty much central to everything. I always try to meet my clients as much as possible. That's definitely a big selling point for us. So it worked out for me. I like Kissimmee. Still kind of at a point in my life though where I need to be, kind of at the center of things. But I'm sure when I'm older and I get to the point where, we have a lot more people in management helping to run it, things will be different. Ultimately, the goal is to actually take this show on the road, literally. I don't know if you've heard of tiny houses.
I've heard of it.
But I want to... we've actually talked to a couple of tiny house companies, and I've tried to make deals with them and things like that. Hasn't quite worked out yet, but the ultimate goal is to travel with a mobile marketing house that I live in part of the time, and we travel to our customers all over the country, and we do conventions that way, and tape it, make it into a show. That is a big goal of mine. Probably try that out for a year or two, see how that goes, see how, if it takes off, that could be something where even the show itself gets sponsored, because it's something that people are not doing right now. Plus, it gives me a place to store all the costumes. My entire walk-in closet is basically all costumes.
I imagine so.
It gives me a place to do that. And then obviously Orlando, somewhere in Orlando would be a home base. Yeah. But that's the advantage of not having a regular, standard office in an office building, is that I could come to you, whether it's local or it's in another state, and with that mobile marketing, home, I can do that, stay over somewhere, kind of do everything in a bigger way. So I don't have to worry about packing up things in a car. I have an entire house that's on wheels. You can make it as long as you want. So it could be, 50 feet or however long, as long as it fits the restrictions of the road, and you can haul it with something, you can pretty much go anywhere. So
I'll be looking for the Geek Unique trailer passing by through my town soon.
Right. You'll be like, you'll see my face on the side of it. You'll be like, wait a minute, is that Katrina?
You can't sneak in anywhere because they know you're there. You know what's funny is you lived in Winter Park, and I lived in Winter Park for about a year in '95.
Wow.
And I remember that it was so if you went into town, into Church Street in particular, it was so packed, full. It's like overflowing. I don't even know how to explain it. My brother used to say 20 pounds of poop in a 10-pound bag, and it was like Orlando has so much to do there, and a lot of people don't know that it's an hour away, pretty much, from the ocean. It's in the middle of the state.
Yes.
So, but what do you do in Orlando? When you're not doing conventions, what do you like to do, Katrina?
Sleep. if I'm not honestly, even my off time is kind of work. Case in point, we did the red carpet event. It was my friend's birthday afterwards, so we, the group of us, we went downtown to meet her. She might be moving out of state, so I'm like, you know what, I really got to see her there. I had fans come up to me, people who knew me. I was handing out business cards, and we're there, at a bar hanging out, and I'm meeting people who own tattoo shops and, or are starting up business. So I don't exactly always stop, but I try at least once a week, probably on Sunday. Some days it's family day. So I'll go out, have dinner with my family. A workout time is kind of my me time. Working out is kind of my zen time. That's kind of here and there in between the day. I have alarms set on my phones to do meditation sessions because of all that moving around and things like that. Sometimes it's good to kind of ground yourself. But usually I just take off Sundays. I do something with the family, rest, catch up. I don't know if you've seen my feed with my dog. I have a little 4-pound Papillon. So me and her, we like to do little fun activities. She's great and she's funny. She looks like a meme herself. She kind of looks like a gremlin from the movie Gremlins. And she's so adorable. So we'll go to like a park or something like that, and I get to see her run around. And she's 15 years old. You wouldn't know it though. She's very active for her age.
Yeah.
So.
How big a family do you have, Katrina?
A pretty big family. We're kind of all over the place. Mostly Florida, but between Florida and New York. Big Italian family. My grandfather had 3 kids. Each of them has had several kids. My father's side, when I was born, he was a lot older than me, so not all of them are with us, but the ones that are mostly in New York, some in Puerto Rico. I have family in Europe, some of which I've never really met in real life. We've just Skyped, or I've talked to them online because it's so far. That's a really big goal of mine. That would be great to do some conventions in Europe. The cosplay scene there, a lot of it is new and up and coming, so it should be pretty interesting. So that's another goal, is to go to Europe eventually. Mostly locally here is my mom, my stepdad, and a few cousins, and they're busy also kind of doing their own thing. One of my cousins, she just opened up a yoga company. She travels around, does yoga classes all over the place. A lot for business professionals too, though. So we're very similar in that sense. So everyone we try to stay busy. Sunday is kind of the day to reconnect, though. So that's always nice.
Oh, yeah. I try to keep Sundays lazy Sunday because I work through the week. I've actually taken some time off in my day job so I can do more podcasting and learn more from people. And I'm learning today from you, Katrina Tecxidor. That's so fantastic. So many facets of your different life and different business. So, man, you must have started doing this cosplay thing so young, because you say you've been in this business for 15 years. That means you started when you were 15 thinking about this, trying to make it into a job. So when did that start? How did that begin? You went to high school in Orlando or Kissimmee, or I guess it's Kissimmee.
Kissimmee, yeah.
I've always pronounced it wrong. I'm from Miami, so I'm familiar with the area. But Kissimmee.
Yes.
Is the way to say it. And is that where you went to high school?
I went to New Dimensions, which is a charter school, specifically in Poinciana. So Poinciana is more Kissimmee than Kissimmee. It's far. It's kind of far. It's far and remote, off the beaten path. But I really liked that high school. It was because it's a charter school, you kind of get a little bit more personalized treatment there, and that's always good because it's difficult kind of learning in a high school environment, at least in my opinion, where you got thousands and thousands of people there and they don't have any time to spend with you. I would say, like I said, at first the end goal was to get involved in environmental science with animals somehow. I always wanted to travel. Originally, it was going to be through doing different projects with endangered species, but traveling was always a part of it. And I knew that geek culture was something I always wanted to incorporate somehow. So whether it was, hey, I'm traveling to this state to study this animal, let me go to a convention or hit up some comic book stores, things like that. It was always going to be a part of the plan. It was how I put it together. And when it started working out that, okay, being an entrepreneur was the direction I needed to go, I said, why would I have this going on with the health and fitness and the cosplay and the marketing? Why does it all have to be separate. If you watch, I don't know if you watch any kind of motivational videos, but if you watch Gary Vee, for example, one of them, he always says, give people more reasons to follow you, not less. And I always believe that. Why would I, and why would I not put them together? Because eventually, if you're following me with my marketing, you're going to see my cosplay anyway. You're going to see my fitness stuff. But how you put it together is a very delicate dance, of how it's perceived, how you explain it, and it's taken a while to get to where we need to be. But I think we've definitely gotten some legs. We're figuring that out. There was probably a good 6 months to a year where I was just constantly writing down ideas for this concept before anything even saw the light of day, before I even told anybody what I wanted to do.
When was this? What year? How old were you when you were thinking about this?
Well, I mean, I thought about what if we tried this, what if we tried that for many years, but the business, cos marketing itself, launched about a year and a half ago. And prior to that, we had FanFit Go for about a year. So before I started kind of thinking, how are we putting this all out there? You're talking about 2 or 3 years ago where I started kind of pushing out that plan.
You've marketed it so well that it feels like it's been around for so much longer.
Yes.
Okay. The beginnings of cosplay were you learning Elvish up in Queens as a young child. When did you start doing the cosplay? Going to conventions? Was that when you got to Florida?
Yes. So I didn't actually go to my first convention until I was in Florida. I was probably somewhere around 18 to 20 years old, probably 18 or 19 years old. The first one was MegaCon. I wasn't dressed in any particular special costume. It was just something from one of these Halloween stores because I didn't know what I was getting into. And I mean, MegaCon has only grown, but back then it was still very big for me. And as soon as I experienced it, most people are like, okay, this is really cool. Like, I want to go again and do another thing, or maybe I'll have a better costume next time. And I'm like, not only do I want a better costume, I want the best costume out there, and I want to do this for a living. I want to do this for life.
Oh, for sure.
I'm done. I figured it out now. And, I started going to more over time, and I made it a point to network. So, rather than, if I talk to people, I talk to them, going out of my comfort zone, each person, each time, with the goal being, let's have a meaningful connection with them and see what we can do to make this goal happen. How can I help them, and how can they help me to get to where they need to go? So the people who would talk to me, I'd love to, get paid for a gig. Well, what kind of costumes do you have? And I would get people booked, even if it's just for, birthdays or family events. That can be super profitable here. I mean, generally speaking, I'll get paid $50 an hour for my Batgirl costume or Wonder Woman, or some of my big ones. And that's normal for birthday parties here. And you can do that if you're marketing yourself the right way. You can do that every single weekend.
But so, you realize that you're saying what you're saying. The underlying of what you're saying is you got to put the work in. You can't go in there in some kind of flimsy costume. You got to really do the job. If you're going to be Batgirl, and be in character for the kids, because they're looking for magic. Yes. You can't come back out and be Katrina. No, you got to get in there, and you're Batgirl for the whole time. You're doing Batgirl things. You're taking pictures and poses, and you're not coming out of character. So this is acting, and you've said that you did a little bit of acting.
Yes.
When did you start the acting part? Yeah.
Well, I took acting classes growing up because the dance studio component of it it was attached simultaneously with the acting. So I went to American Dance and Drama. If anybody's listening out there and they're from Queens, you might have heard of American Dance and Drama. Fantastic studio, family run for many years. Great people there. And I was always involved with the dance part of it. And over time, I'm like, you know what? Let me try this acting thing. So I took classes there for a while. High school, kind of got involved with, fan films here and there, things like that, just kind of making like brief appearances for it. And I would say really more of my acting knowledge came from working with YouTubers.
Okay.
I love to promote and work with a lot of YouTubers too. So,
but did you do any acting back then, or do any plays at all?
I never really did anything super professional. Everything was indie, mostly taking classes. I mean, what I wanted to get out of it wasn't, I want to be in a big show or on TV or all this other stuff, which is great and all. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But I wanted to learn communication, how to get out of my shell. I was very quiet, antisocial, and it took a lot for me to get to where I am now. And that's really was the goal is, how can I meet massive groups of people from different walks of life and not feel like, oh my God, what is going on?
You put some tools in your toolbox is what you did.
Right. That's how I saw it. I mean, and no matter what you do in life, I think taking some acting classes or communication or something, I think in this day and age, it's essential for everyone. Just like knowing how to market yourself online, even if you're not a business owner. Nowadays, when people are hiring you, they're going to look at they're going to look at your Facebook, they're going to look at your LinkedIn. You need at least a crash course in all of these tools to be able to succeed in life. It's just the way it is. So, and I knew that back then, and I was tired of being kind of stuck in my shell where I was. So that's where the acting came in. And it's great that now I get to use it sometimes to be featured in, YouTube videos and things like that, or our own content too. So, the videos we produce and things like that. I do a lot of behind the scenes now too, because I have to, manage everything, but it's fun to be in front of the camera too.
All right. So what YouTube videos have you been in that you've been featured in where you get to do your acting, do your thing, Katrina Tecxidor?
Mostly what I'll do is being an interviewer, because that's the vast majority of content we're going to conventions. I'm interviewing other cosplayers and interviewing other business owners. So that's mostly how I'm featured. I've been in some sketches where I am, Batgirl, that's the main thing. I've been in a couple where I was Elektra, did a fight scene for that one. That's pretty difficult. Fight training is way more difficult than it looks like. That's acting mixed with working out. And you're sweating by the end of it. And we're talking about a video where it's edited, it's only like 2 minutes long. You're still doing that for 3 or 4 hours. So there's a lot that kind of goes into it, which is part of the reason why I'll kind of take a backseat role sometimes, and I'll let other people get involved in it, because 3 or 4 hours, that's half of a convention right there, just for one video. But I do enjoy it. It's one of those things where I'm making it a point now, going into October, being my birthday month, everything like that, Halloween, I'm going to try to get involved more with projects when I can.
Yeah, October's a big month for cosplayers in particular.
Yes.
If there's some people that I know that in this town that if they could dress up every day, they would, and some of them do. Some of them, have the purple hair and the pink hair and have that lifestyle where they're always dressed up. Now, you say that there's conventions every other week over there, but there's other things that a cosplayer can do when there's no conventions. Do you do any of the other events, like going to hospitals maybe and doing those other things where these superheroes go and visit with people?
Right. So I haven't had enough time to do as much charity work as I'd like to do this year, but I've done that. I've visited children in hospitals and things of that nature, charity events where they're, raising money for, some child surgery or something like that. I've done a lot of that. Definitely would love to do more of that. Sometimes they have meetup events that are not just full conventions. They're just meeting up, people kind of doing like a group photo shoot or just getting to know each other kind of thing. And they have at different bars and restaurants now cosplay nights that are not exactly marketed as cosplay, but it's a theme night. So you'll have like gothic theme or steampunk theme because it's so mainstream and recognizable. They know it's going to draw people in, even at least as spectators. So there's really always something to do. And but if I feel like dressing up wherever I go, if it's the grocery store, I don't care. And if anything, it almost makes me want to do it more because, you're going to get a reaction. And I always got the cameras with me, always, doing things for social media. So it could be a reaction video. There were plenty of times where I went to downtown Orlando. There was no theme at all. I'm dressed in full Batgirl, interacting with people. And it's great. The gym too. What's really fun is dressing in cosplay at the gym, obviously in workout gear, which they do have, Batgirl, Batman themed workout gear. And my gloves are comfortable enough to use when I'm lifting. So one time in particular, that's what stood out to me. That's what I did. I had just dyed my hair red at the time. I usually keep it red because I do a lot of Barbara Gordon, and I had a Batgirl workout outfit on, and I had actual Batman gloves on, and my sneakers were yellow and everything. So I was in theme, just kind of doing my thing, working out, because it feels good. When you look good, you feel good. I love these characters. It really, for me, it enhances the workout. I had a guy that came up to me after I was done with one of my sets, and he goes, "You know what? I was having a really bad day. I have struggled with depression my whole life. I had some really dark thoughts earlier. I've been going through a lot of stuff personally. And then you came in and I saw you having fun, enjoying your workout in costume. And I said to myself, you know what? Life isn't so bad. It's going to get better. And you made me happy. And I just want to say thank you." And he was so nice, and it made my day.
It's amazing what you can do just dressing up. You're dressing up for yourself, and here you're making this person's day, and possibly even saving their psyche, their life. Who knows what they could have done if you hadn't put a smile on their face with your costume. That's great. That's to me, that is a big factor of why I do it. Of course, any article of clothing that you're wearing, at the end of the day, it's got to be for you, but it's more than dressing up or even just a lifestyle. It's what that means. That symbol means something to people. It's recognized. It's one of the most recognized symbols. The bat symbol is one of the most recognized symbols in the entire world, not even just this country, the entire world. It's right up there with the Coca-Cola symbol, the cross, the Judaic symbol. You got Batman and Superman symbol up there, the most recognized symbols in the entire world. So it brings people together, immediately gives you an emotion and makes you think about something. You're standing for something greater than yourself. And it also stands for, hey, you can get through this. Yeah. Batman has been through a lot of terrible things, and he always comes out on top. And he tries to constantly better himself, and that's what I stand for. So it's more than just, hey, I think this character looks cool, she does cool things. It's what it represents, and I try to the best of my ability to live my life in that way, how it represents. I take it seriously. I look in my closet. I have at least 2 Batman shirts and a Batman mask. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel good. Now, Batgirl is your main cosplay, but the Elektra that I saw you in was fantastic and a surprise. It's nice that you picked up on something that is not done every day. I see Harleys all the time now. I see Batgirls from time to time, and not quite as much as the Harleys, but the Elektra, you pulled one out that doesn't get done as often. Is that something that you like to do with your cosplay? Is pull other strong female characters out that maybe don't have the spotlight all the time?
That would definitely be a factor of consideration. I don't like having something that everyone has, even down to a regular outfit. If I go out and I see 3 people with the same shirt or something like that, I might get rid of it. So I'm not doing it. You know,
because you're geek unique, not geek the same.
Right. I don't think people would follow Geek the Same cosplay as much as Geek Unique. But the comic book versions, rather than the movie versions, sometimes stand out to me because most people, they're not going to necessarily read the comic books. They're going to go see the movies. It's going to be more common, so people are going to see that, and it starts a dialogue because they're like, okay, this looks like something I've seen in a show or movie, but I'm not sure what it is, and that's a conversation starter. Oh, did you know that this character got this start in this comic book? It came out then, and we start talking about it. And the Electra too. Most people who do Electra, they do the show version. So for me, I wanted to do the comic book version, and it worked out because I happened to be at the mall, and that dress was there at a store, and it was like made for Electra. That is one that I didn't get custom made or made by a designer. It happened to be a dress that looked exactly like Electra off the shelf. So I got really lucky with that one. So I was like, okay, this has got to happen. And then I did a charity event afterwards. I didn't have any good size. I just got something cheap at that time because it was my first time in that costume. I didn't know how people would feel about it. I usually kind of, I don't necessarily go all in with every single character. If it's Batgirl, of course I'm going to, but other characters maybe not. And I did a charity event, and as Electra, had my my size, which didn't look that great, but editing of course helped. And the person there who was one of the other main cosplayers, she came up to me and she gave me a pair of real size.
Wow.
that she had stitched on some really cool writing to make it look like it's like some kind of like foreign language or something like that kind of thing, like this really cool design on it. I'm like, oh my god, like, can I use this for a picture? She's like, no, I'm giving this to you. I'm like, wow, you're giving this to me? She's like, yeah, I saw your costume and I thought about you, and I love everything you're doing, and I want to give this to you as a gift. And it was so sweet of her, and
you inspired
really
her, is what you did, Katrina. You inspired.
She was young.
Her. Yeah.
She's like 16, 17. So I'm definitely happy that I could have influenced her in that way. But now that's the size that I use. But because they're real, obviously you can't bring it into every convention. They have restrictions on it. The ends are dull though. can't really stab anyone unless you really want to.
Hey, no, you wouldn't.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. It wouldn't be good. Be an interesting story, but no, don't do it. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Kids, don't do it.
Yeah. And size are surprisingly pretty heavy too. So, I mean, and it's good. It's good to, if you're ever going to do any kind of combat training too, to get something that at least has the same kind of weight, because it's completely different. I mean, the same thing with a regular sword versus a foam sword or things like that. In combat training, that's on my to-do list too.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question is have you had any of this training to maybe work with your tools? Because I know Batgirl has fighting techniques and Wonder Woman as well, and some of the other characters that you play. That would be something to add a little more flavor if you had a martial arts background in that, and the flexibility to do some of these poses and such. Have you had any of that training? I know you did the dancing early on in life. Did that help you at all?
It definitely helps with discipline and flexibility and remembering different moves. Dance is somewhat correlated to combat training because you have to go through different moves and steps, and you have to know how to breathe. Otherwise, you're going to get winded real quick. I took, I think, about 3 or 4 years of karate, but that was a long time ago. That was growing up. So that's definitely on my list, is to be able to do more combat training for working out purposes, for fun. I've done kickboxing and things like that, enough to where I know kind of how to move around, how to do the certain poses, but in terms of actual fight choreography, that would be definitely cool to learn. So if anybody out there does fight choreography and you're in my area, and we can connect with my schedule. That's the thing too, is my schedule is so crazy. Sometimes it's hard taking on something else, and I don't do things in half measures. So if I'm going to start combat training, you're going to see me training like Rocky, like the next day. So it's like I almost like don't want anybody to hit me up about that, because I'm like, it's another thing that I have to do, but. It would be
okay. When I was in Orlando,
it would be fun. It would definitely be really fun and relevant for what I do.
You're touching upon something. When I was in Winter Park, I used to. Okay, I didn't do it that often, but I ran or jogged from Winter Park all the way to Church Street to go to the Church Street gym and go box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of miles. It was, and these are, I would do it on my days off. I was working at the Bally's Health and Fitness, but then on my days off, I would go and jog over to the Candyman's gym on Church Street, which it felt like it was 20 miles. I never measured it, but it felt long. And I would start very early in the morning, get there somewhere around noon, and then box for a little while. So yeah, Candyman's gym. I hope it's still there. I'm guessing it might be there. I don't know if Candyman is still around though. He was getting a little bit older when I got there in '95. So that's a possibility. I have to give a shout out because you're making me think about things in Orlando, Florida. There's so much to do there. And yeah, you could walk down Church Street as Batgirl and just flip people out. They will have such a good time seeing you out there. And I think we've talked a lot about the Geek Unique cosplay. Let's talk about the FanFit Go. What is that facet? I know you say you don't preach to people about your lifestyle, but what you do essentially to me as a follower is you put it out there as an inspiration to people to get fit and to be fans, to be fit and to go. Tell me more about that, Katrina Tecxidor.
Mm-hmm. Well, the inspiration with that was my background in science, animals, environmentalism, health, things like that. So it started out as being a way to health coach people from online who lived a on-the-go lifestyle. So it can fit in with people who are entrepreneurs who are on the go, convention goers, people who they don't necessarily have a lot of time on their hands. Maybe you have 20 or 30 minutes to fit in for a workout. How do you do that in a way that's effective, that's going to not only make you look better, but make you feel better? And that's kind of the most important thing to me. It's not necessarily a number, it's a feeling. I want people to have a better quality of life. I grew up with processed foods, people who didn't understand the value of working out, constantly drinking sodas and things like that just really weigh on your body after a while. A lot of high fructose corn syrup, things like that, that's just not the best for us. And I kept on, over time, I'm like, I'm so young, but I feel kind of worn down. And with that condition, I have scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. Inflammation is something that I'm constantly dealing with. Even as healthy as I eat, it's still sometimes a problem for me. I have to really think about these things to combat the pain that's associated with that. When you have a misalignment of the spine, it can cause headaches. Obviously, it can make you really tired, muscle spasms, random muscle spasms. I could be talking to someone and get some pain that shoots right in my hip, and it can make me drop to the floor if it's bad enough. I mean, if the inflammation's bad enough, and that's actually a fairly common condition. A lot of people have some kind of form of it. I was born with the cord wrapped around my body, and I think that that's part of it. Is it kind of contorted that, and then I got into a car accident in college that made my condition worse. I think that was part of where the health advocacy came from, is my condition worsened after the car accident. So I had to kind of rehabilitate myself a bit, and I have to be a lot more strict on myself as to what I consume, the kind of exercise that I did. And so it started out health coaching with marketing, cosplay, and everything else. It kind of took a focus of that. So a lot of the information I just kind of give out to people. I kind of just help them. I don't charge as much or really anything at all for my health coaching anymore, because, I can kind of instruct people from my computer. So it's easier for me at this point to do that. So, I can give people a lot of knowledge in a short period of time to help them. And it's kind of more of a way to also, talk as myself, not necessarily as a cosplayer or the marketing person, as a little bit of a personal account too, and just a way to inspire people, but also myself. I keep myself accountable by using my platforms like Fanfic Go as well. And I have bad days too. I struggled with depression when I was younger, and I talk about that. And I say, hey, it's okay, because this is something that's going to pass, and as long as you know that you're doing fine, and there's other people like that have struggled with that, it helps. So I put that out there, scoliosis and everything. I took a picture not too long ago of my back brace. I had never done that before. I have a pink back brace. I'm wearing it right now while I type, because if not, I'll be stiff for days stuck in bed. So I have to wear a back brace most of the time. If I'm not, in cosplay, I have to wear it. And so first time I took a picture with it the other day, and I'm like, this is me how I normally am when I work. And a lot of people wrote me, oh, hey, I have scoliosis too. I didn't feel comfortable wearing, a back brace and everything like that, because I didn't want people to judge me. But like, yours actually looks cute, because I have to have it in a cool color, and like, where do I get it from? And thank you for mentioning that and everything. So yeah, I hope with everything I do that I can help someone, or make someone's day, because if I make other people happy, it makes me happy.
Yeah, I saw that when you were with your back brace, and you were all smiley. And my sister had scoliosis, and I think she fused a couple of her spine together. Is that something that you had to do, or are you straightening it out with the back brace? The fusion. That's
fusion.
it.
Yeah, the fusion. They considered it, but at that point, they said that with my age, it would not have been good to do the surgery. So I opted for every type of natural method I could pretty much do in lieu of doing that, because I did not want to have to go through surgery. As it stands right now, the only type of surgery I've ever had was to remove my wisdom teeth, and that was it. I'd like to keep it that way as much as possible. So I just focused really heavily on the healthy diet and exercise. That's everything from weights to yoga, a lot of meditation, because a lot of physical pain really is mental, truthfully. So focusing on that too, massage therapy, I do acupuncture, I've done cupping treatments, things like that. I've done physical therapy. I have a really great massage therapist, actually. I used to promote him too. I did it so well, I put myself out of business. Now he has so much business that he cannot work even a whole other hour. He would be done. So he didn't need me. He didn't need me anymore. But I still go to him once or twice a month to get treatments. And he specializes in conditions like mine. He's worked with a lot of people that have been in car accidents and things like that. So the repair type of massage is not like how you picture that. You're just in this. You're just so relaxed and everything is just. Everything feels good. It's like he's moving things around and popping it and, manipulating my joints, and there's work involved.
Almost a chiropractor. Almost.
To realign me. Yeah, I've gone to chiropractors too. I don't have one that I consistently go to now, because the massage, acupuncture, and cupping happens to work really well for me.
Right.
But I tell everyone, try what you can, within reason, within your budget, what you are comfortable with, and find what works for you and set up a routine, but never make your routine too consistent, because you need what's called muscle confusion. You
Right.
don't want to do the same thing every single day, because your body will get used to it, and you'll have, there's something called the rate of diminishing returns, right? So eventually what was working before won't work then. So you'll have to do, more of a session, longer session, or more of a dosage of whatever it is, and you may not necessarily be able to do that. So you have to kind of switch things up. I've tried cryotherapy, which
What's
is
that?
freezing cold cryotherapy. You go into this chamber. It looks like a movie. Like, you go into this chamber and they hit you with this freezing cold temperature, and that sets your body into this mode where it's kind of going into repairing itself, and it's just for a couple of minutes. Anything more than that, it has the opposite effect, and not enough. It won't put your body into that state. And the first time you do it, it's like kind of shocking. It's like, whoa, what's going on? But especially being in Florida, freezing cold temperatures, it's a little weird. But that's something that's really cool. Actually has anti-aging properties too. It makes your metabolism run faster too. Compression therapy is really good. That's essentially where they're compressing the muscles in certain areas to get the blood flow there. That's kind of what they do somewhat in massage, but sitting in a compression chair or standing up in a compression device kind of gets all that area at once. TENS units are really good. That's where you can shock your muscles and kind of wake up your muscles by these like little tiny electrode things. But it's still very light. It just kind of feels like a pulsating thing. It's not like it's like electricity going through your body like Pikachu. It's like it's light in the different areas of your muscles. I mean, I've tried so many things. I'm actually going to be doing acupuncture tomorrow. I have a girl. She's mobile. She goes to everyone and she does acupuncture in their house. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff you can do from the comfort of your own home, too, which is great.
Oh, it's nice to have mobile facilities, mobile people, and you're going to become one of those mobile people that's going to bring your cause marketing to people with your. You say you're going to put a tiny house on a trailer and go.
Yeah. I'm gonna take literally take the show on the road eventually.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, at least maybe to say that I did it for a summer, you know what I mean? And when I can, save up the capital, get a house, put it on the property, and, either use it like an office or, rent it out like a mother-in-law suite kind of thing, for extra income.
Start your own B&B there.
You can make income. Yeah. Oh, so there are people that's all they do is Airbnb. I met a woman out in Cocoa Beach. And she's a single mom, and that's how she supports her son. So she took her property. She's got her little property of her and her little boy, and she's got 2 or 3 little tiny houses, but they're not mobile. Regular structures. They're renting out on Airbnb, and because it's right by Cocoa Beach, she's renting it out for like $200 or $300 a night, and she's always got people there. And all she's doing is managing that, and she's making a hell of a lot more money than when she was an accountant.
Amazing.
By doing that.
The things you can do if you just think. Yeah, if you just think about what you want to do, you can make money doing. You don't think that you can. All right. When I was younger, they used to say, "Hey, don't let people into your house. Don't let strangers into your house." And then here we are doing Airbnb. It's not quite the same because I know that there's rating scales and all that, and I'm not exactly sure what Airbnb does because I haven't had the pleasure of using it. I still go to hotels if I have to from time to time. But they do the same thing with the Ubers as well. Don't get in a stranger's car and get a ride. Well, that's what you're doing. You're calling a stranger to give you a ride. So it's an amazing time that we're living in. Where you trust people, and I find that most people are good. Most people are nice, and they're not going to do any harm to you. But sometimes you trust the wrong person, and ooh, there's that one. That one silly person. So have you found that? Have you ever had to stay in an Airbnb or take an Uber and never had any problems with that?
I've never, not really. I think the only issue would be occasionally, a language barrier or something like that when, if I'm getting in the car with somebody who doesn't speak the same language as me, but never really any issues with that, with that, per se. The thing in our day and age too is everyone, I mean, I hate to say it, but we're all kind of being watched one way or the other. We all have a public medium now, the internet, social media, everything, where, if you're doing something wrong to someone else, I mean, in 5 minutes, everyone can find out. Everybody's got a phone attached to their camera. It's a whole different landscape. So if you're not giving someone good customer service or you're just not a nice person, people are going to know about it and they're going to talk. And especially Florida, because Florida is one of those places where, yeah, it's a big city, but at the same time, everyone knows each other, even if you're not trying to, even if you're not me making a point to know everyone. It's a large city, but it still has a small town feel in that sense. So it holds people accountable in this day and age. So I mean, there's good things and bad things with that we can say, but knowing other people could be watching makes me personally want to be a better person, to make sure what they see is something positive. And everybody is human. We all have our moments, but in this day and age, you have to have a good rapport everywhere you go, and you don't know who can, like when I used to work retail in my younger days, you don't know who can come into your store and they might be a millionaire. I met a guy once who was dressed pretty poorly. There was nothing really that stood out to me, and I was like, man, this guy has money. And I talked to him over the course of time. I was working at a pet store. He would bring his dog in all the time, and I found out that he owned like 5 cattle ranches. He's a multimillionaire and everything like that. And we're just talking about whatever, probably comic books, because me.
Right.
And it's just it's like a small world. You don't know what people are doing, or even the people who Uber. There are people who I met that they're not doing this full time or even just a side hustle to make extra money. They're doing that to meet people because they know they're going to meet all different types of people. And they have successful businesses. They're just doing it to make connections. And because they have a little bit of extra time in their schedule and whatever, time frame to do that. And they're like, why not? I'll make some extra cash doing it. It's what happened that somebody else that I got them on Uber. They buy and flip houses, and they had just made their first $1 million flip. And I was in the car with them, and they were telling me about it. So you just don't know.
Yeah, if and when I become,
can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, if and when I become a millionaire, Katrina, I want to be that millionaire that doesn't flash his money around. Just live simply still, and just live your life and be good to people. And it seems like that's what you do. You're always have a smiley face, and with your cosplay, you make people happy, and with your Fan Fit Go, you make people healthy. And with your cos marketing, you're making people better, and so. I mean, just branch out into the facets of you and how they can get a hold of you. I think you've explained pretty much who you are and what you do. That is fantastic, Katrina Tecxidor. I got to say it the right way. There's a lot of syllables in there. They jammed the C in the middle of that. Tecxidor. So give the people an idea of how to get a hold of you and all the different facets of what you do in a nutshell, I guess. Right. Well, in a nutshell, you can say that I promote. I guess you could say I promote financial health, success, all kind of wrapped into one, while living a, off the cuff kind of lifestyle with my cosplay, enjoying yourself while doing it. Again, I own a marketing company, so we help small business owners, and a new term, solopreneurs. So those are people who are, maybe
people who are cosplayers or actors trying to go professionally, but they don't necessarily own a business. They are their own business, things like that. Through Fanfic Go, we're helping people get healthy who live on an on-the-go type lifestyle. Through my cosplay, kind of tie that all together in a neat bow through, my cosplay and my charity work and things like that. Just, promoting being who you are and loving who how you live your life and just being yourself. There's really no reason to hold yourself back. If you want to cosplay, go ahead and do that. Be yourself above all else. How you can get a hold of me? The best way to get a hold of me is through my marketing website, which is cosmarketingagency.com. That's cosmarketingagency.com. You can also email me at cosmarketingagency@gmail.com. Phone number is also on the website. Of course, we're on social media, since social media is a big part of what we do. So that's at Cos Marketing Agency everywhere, at Geek Unique Cosplay everywhere, at Fanfic Go everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. We're on it. You can find us there, with Cos Marketing Agency being the main hub of operations. So
yeah. Now tell me about
the fastest way to get a hold of me.
Tell me about your modeling career with the All Around Talent. Is that something that's brand new, or is that's something that happened before that you were thinking about?
I've been a model contracted with them for a long time. Usually I'll work with them in hair modeling gigs during the summer. So they're a company that they'll give you information about gigs for hair show conventions. There's a lot of hair show conventions and things like that. Conventions outside of just geek stuff or cosplay that I go to. I'm trying to go to a lot of more business focused conventions too. That's always fun, seeing people's reaction too. If I kind of incorporate some of the cosplay in there too, in some of these business functions and things like that, or like hair model events, that's usually a really good time. And the hair model events too, they're when these big Marvel and DC movies come out, a lot of their themes now are comic book related too, which is really cool. But yeah, they book me, regular modeling, not necessarily cosplay. And I have a couple of other companies I'm contracted with, but they're the ones who send me, most of the information. So I make sure they put them on their Facebook so people can see them and link to them out. And they're really good people there. So if you sign up, let them know I sent you. Throw a little name drop in there, and they're all over the country too. So if you're in a different state, they may have something for you. I think they're actually based out of New York right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at David Anthony, maybe part of it.
Yeah, he's a big one there.
Well, fantastic. There's so many facets to you, Katrina Tecxidor. I knew you had a story, and I'm so glad that you came on the What Makes You Famous podcast. What's coming up for Katrina Tecxidor in the near future?
Well, we are organizing my birthday event. We're looking at a couple of venues for that. Once that's secure, that's going to be, online on the Geek Unique page as well. Spooky Empire, we're looking into, probably going to do that. And that's kind of the main thing that we're doing, other than, keeping our current customers happy and, looking for more people to join up with us. As far as the costume division is going, we're going to kind of revamp some of that and come out in a really big way closer to November and December, kind of beating some of the Halloween traffic. We're going to push that, kind of a redesign for that out soon. And other than that, if somebody has a convention for us, let us know. If we're we're not booked, we'll come on out. We'll bring the show on the road.
For sure.
Literally, yeah.
Do you build the costumes all yourself, or do you have a team?
No. Oh, no. We have an entire team of contractors that do that. Same thing with the marketing. So the social media aspect of what we do, a lot of it I have my hands in, but we have specialists for everything.
You say
including the costumes.
Oh, you say you don't sleep that much, and when you do have downtime, you sleep. I'm glad you keep your Sundays off.
There's a reason. There's a reason. Yeah, no, I did. And I used to work almost 7 days straight, but I said I needed a day off. So that's my day to decompress, and then we're back at it again.
Oh, you never work harder than when you have your own business, because you care about it more than anybody else will. And you're trying to, yes. All through your 20s, you're trying to build something, and it seems like you've built something. You're building something, and it's still getting bigger. I see nothing but great things happening for you. Katrina Tecxidor, what's going on with the rest of the day?
We got some emails for clients. We just got some new people signing up, so I'm getting them all hooked up to our software so we can start creating some posts for them. And then we're following up with people that we met at the red carpet event the other day. So that should be fun as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the red carpet. What was that red carpet for?
Red Carpet Monday, it goes on once a month.
Okay.
It's run by Ryan Deming, really good guy. He owns a billboard marketing company as well. Basically, it's a way for business owners to network. And you get people from all walks of life. You get small business owners, and you get people like Dan Newland. Sponsored it the last time. He's a really big lawyer here. Lawyers in Florida, a lot of them also are kind of their own personalities too. I mean, it's such a big thing.
I used to see them on park benches a lot.
Yeah, I mean, their marketing campaigns are crazy, very, very high saturation, but you've got to be able to compete. So met a lot of people there. We've been sponsors of the event also for a few months now. So we went there and did some video media there and things like that, covered it on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. So we always do our due diligence. I think that's where a lot of business owners fall short is researching, okay, who's gonna be there, who do I need to talk to, and then the follow up. I mean, that's like the whole job in and of itself, following up with everyone you talk to, because you can go to an event and talk to hundreds of people, but after that, how are you going to continue to build that connection? So that's kind of our game plan going through the rest of the week. Besides working on the current projects that we're doing, is reaching out to the people that we met there at that event.
Yeah, Katrina Tecxidor, because being online is one thing, but going face to face with people, you got to do that. You got to have that personal connection, that touch, and I look forward to seeing you again, Katrina Tecxidor, in one way or another. If it's at a Comic-Con, or if it's at a fitness event, or if it's in any facet of you, or maybe we'll catch each other in looking at nature.
Definitely. Anytime you come to Florida, be sure to let me know. Or if I come to your neck of the woods, of course, you're going to be one of the first people that I contact.
Oh yeah. So, any last words you want to tell the people? Anything else you want to say about you, Katrina Tecxidor?
I think that's about it. I would say, if you're thinking about opening up a business, or you have a really interesting concept and you're just kind of scared to pull the trigger on it and get the ball rolling, don't. Do what you love to do. Life is too short. You don't want to look back on it and say, man, I didn't do enough. Other people were holding me back. When people are telling you no, or you can't do something, that's exactly when you can, and that's exactly when you should. Because I did, and that led me to where I am now, talking to people like you and your awesome fans out there, which you clearly very much love and appreciate, because I always see you online doing your thing, promoting other people. So live your passion and don't ever let anybody hold you back.
That is the perfect way to end, Katrina Tecxidor. So good talking to you. Thank you so much for being on the program. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very, very much, and thank you for being patient with all my schedule changes. This is a time of year that's been a lot of crazy stuff happening, because we're getting closer to the holidays, so it's a busy time for me. But I'm very glad I got to talk to you, and we'll follow up soon. Let me know when this goes out, gets posted, and everything like that. I'll make sure that we share it on all our platforms.
Oh, you'll know. It's probably within the hour. Thank you, Katrina.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. You enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, party people. Katrina Tecxidor. I knew that it was going to be a great conversation. She has so many facets to her personality, to herself. Katrina Tecxidor has the Geek Unique cosplay, the Fan Fit Go. She's a cosplayer on her own. So whatever page you follow, you're going to have a lot of interesting things to see. And make sure that you follow her, Katrina Tecxidor. That's Texidor, Katrina with a K. And then Geek Unique Cosplay, you could find that on the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, and then FanFit Go, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just follow her, and you'll find out more about Katrina Tecxidor. I had such a good time talking to her. I didn't know she was, all right, she has actual geek credentials. She went to college. She's an animal I guess she studied animals and biology and such, so she's got a degree in it. She's got a degree in geekdom, and she started out as an elf in Queens, New York. I mean, you heard the story. It was fascinating to me, and everybody has a story. But thank you so much, Katrina Tecxidor, for sharing your story on the What Makes You Famous podcast. If you want to tell your story, I encourage you. Give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here. Radio What? The music you want with some great quotes. After all, there is but only one race. Humanity. George Moore. The music you want. RadioWhat.com. Tweet, yo. Follow Radio What on Twitter @Radio What Twit. Tweet, yo.